You also trained harness horses. Tell us about that.
Yes, I actually did get my license to train horses, and it was something that I never thought I would do or be capable of doing. But after leaving California in the early 80s, I joined up with my brother who was training horses at Pompano Park. And rather than just groom them and take them to the paddock, he kind of pushed me and said, you know, you can do this. Why don't you take your trainer's test? And he would have me out there exercising and coaching, and we would go training miles. And, of course, he was my mentor. He'd be telling me, you know, how to watch for fractions and so on. So I did indeed take the test, and we operated a stable together from 82 through, well, until I got married, 87.
Trish, you've been here over a year now, and of course you've had a chance to get acclimated, and I think you're doing a great job. What do you really like about the job here? And tell us about your philosophy of interviewing. From my standpoint, I think your interviews and your features are directed both towards the novice and towards the experienced gambler.
Thank you for the compliment, Jerry, about doing a good job. I always appreciate that, especially from a coworker. But the job itself, I do approach from the fact that everybody that tunes in is not a harness racing know-it-all. And even if some people have spent years just coming to the track and watching it, there's still things that they do not know or understand or comprehend. I don't want to bore the person that does have a good working knowledge of harness racing, but I want to leave room to educate the person that maybe doesn't have all the answers. And of course, interviewing is natural for me because I'm just being able to talk about what I love, and I kind of have an enthusiasm, I hope, about it, and I hope I bring that enthusiasm to my interviews.
Now, you've been at this game for many years, Trish, and you must have some very fond memories. What do you remember the most?
Well, of course, if you start way back when I was younger, the first horse that really stands out in my mind that I just adored was Neville Pride, the trotter, and my mom and dad took every opportunity to make sure I got to see him in some of his bigger stakes events as a 2- and 3-year-old. To me, he looked like a locomotion. He was a beautiful trotter with a chest that, oh, I could go on and on about him. That was one of my biggest moments as far as remembering horses. And then Niatros, when I was working at Hollywood Park in California, Clint Galbraith came out, and because I was in the publicity department, I got to do some close things with Niatros. That was exciting. More recently, training at Pompano, I had Claimer of the Year in 1984-85, a horse by the name of Fly Fly Jules. I'll never forget that. And most recently, Little Brown Jug Day was something great when we had our broadcast on there.
I'll agree with that, Trish. One thing, the future of harness racing, where are we going?
Well, I hope it's not as bleak as some would like to believe. I do think, however, that we do have to be forward-thinking and aggressive. Today, the children don't have a natural inclination towards horses. A lot of people in the city have never even seen any kind of a farm animal or horses. So I think we have to appeal to them in some way. And it's a difficult job trying to tap that person that never even thought of us. But we have to do it. And I hope that we have a bright future.
Trish, thanks for being my guest today.
Thank you.
For Pennsylvania.